Welcome back to our Trust YouTube channel. Today's class will be learning how to make this beautiful spiral flounce sleeve. It's a very simple tutorial and it's beginner friendly. This is something you like to learn. Kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So to make this ruffle flounce, I'm going to be working with this doll face bridal satin. You can work with any fabric of your choice. Actually, you can use organza or scuba, whatever fabric it is that you want to use. So for this, I'm using this fabric, and then you also need your crinoline. Okay, so this is a 2 inches crinoline. The size of the crinoline you're working with depends on how big your pattern is. Okay, so I'm using 2 inches crinoline size for. So this is actually very simple to make. So for each of the pattern, I'm going to be folding my fabric into 4, like I want to cut a full circle flare. So the size depends on how big you want it to be. So for me, I think I'm going to be working with 6 inches, then I'm going to sew it in with half an inch, so I'll be left with around 5.5 inches, which is fine for me. So you first fold your fabric into 2 like this, and then you fold it again into 4 with that measurement that you're working with. So I'm checking that I have up to 6 inches. So I have that. The next thing, from this origin here, I'm going to measure the 6 inches all around with my chalk. So after measuring it all around like this, you connect them together, and then with your scissors you cut out the shape that you have. So I'm going to cut this out now, and this is going to be my first. This is going to be the pattern that I'm going to use for all of them. So this is what it looks like. This is how big it is. So now I'm going to use this to cut out several of these. Need as so the amount that you're going to be using depends on how full you want this to be. Actually, how full you want the sleeves to be. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I have around 1 yard of fabric here, so I'll see what this can give me. So I'm just going to place it on each other like this, and then cut out many. Okay, so I've gone ahead to cut this out now, and then for the size of fabric that I worked with around 1 yard of fabric. This is what it gave me. So for each of them, you need one for your main fabric and one for your lining. I'm using the same fabric as the main fabric and lining because it's going to show, but you can decide to work with a regular lining for yours. You don't have to use your fashion fabric. So now I have 1 pair. Okay, remember, 1 pair is going to give us just 1 cone. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have just 6 here, which is okay for the illustration that I want to work with. So by the time we finish, you will see what 6 cone is going to give us, and this 6 gave me 6 with 1 yard because it's quite big. So if you are working with maybe 4 inches, okay, or remember I use 6 inches to cut this, so if you are working with 4 inches or 5 inches, it may give you more. So now I'm going to take this to my sewing machine. I'm going to place it right side facing right side like this, and then I'll bring in my crinoline and then sew it all around. Okay, so I'll take it to the tip now and then sew my crinoline all around. So I'll do this for all of them, and then I'll bring it back to show us the next stage too. So I've gone ahead to sew my crinoline to it. You can see you just need to place it and sew it around the hem of your circle. So this is what I have. I ran out of this 2 inches crinoline, so I finished it with this 1 inch size, but I prefer to use the 2 inches. So now the next thing you need to do is to get the midpoint of this circle again. Then after getting the midpoint, I'm going to detach the lining from the main fabric. Remember, we placed them right side facing right side. Okay, still holding your midpoint. You're just going to make a circle, a small cut that is wide enough for you to turn this out neatly. Okay, it shouldn't be too big, just something that you know can help turn this. So once you have that cut there, I'm going to bring out the right side of your few circles. So you can see what I have now. This is wide enough. So from that small cut there, I'm going to turn this out neatly. Okay, so after turning it out, you take it to your ironing table and iron it flat, because it's going to be a bit bulky because of the crinoline that we sew on it. So if you don't want to iron it, you can just go to your sewing machine and then you top stitch around it so that the crinoline can relax well for you. You want it to relax well so that it can form the design you want to form very well. So maybe a bit trickish, but it's going to come out. So you just turn it gently because of the crinoline that is there. So after turning it out, you'll have something like this. Okay, you have something like this. So like I said, you can see how bulky it's looking. You take it to your ironing table and iron it flat so that it can relax well. So I'm going to turn all of them now, iron it, and then I'll bring it back to show us what we're going to do next. Okay, so I've gone to iron this now, so you can see that it's lying a bit flatter now. Okay, so this is where we opened it up. So when you're ironing yours, please iron it very flat. I just have to quickly rush this because of the tutorial. So these are the 6 cones that I have. So the next thing you need to do now is to get your sleeve ready. So this is the strap that I'm adding this to. So it's just a small strap depending on how much flounce you want on your sleeve. So you can make it to up to maybe 6 inches or even longer than this. But I have a sleeve of around 3.5 inches here, so that's what I'm going to remember. I have just 6 to work with. So now to place this, now I'm going to hold this like this on the right side. This is the side where we opened it up, and then I'm going to fold it into 4 this way we started it. So you fold into 2 first, and then later you fold into 4. So after folding into 4, now I'll start placing it. So I'll place it like this now, and then you tack it. You can tack with your needle and thread, or you tack with your machine. So I'm just going to pin it with my space. So that's the first cone. So now I'll go over now and take the second one, fold it the same way I did for the first one, and then I'm going to open it up and then tack again. So now I'm tacking the second one, and then I'm going to open it so you can see what we are forming so far. So you take the next one, you fold it into 4, and then you open this up, just tack here and there, and then you check for fullness. Okay, the way you're arranging it, you are checking it to see if it's forming what you want it to form. So you can see what we have so far. So that is how I'm going to fold all the 6 cones that I have, and then I'm going to tack it down like this neatly. Okay, so I'm just pinning it for us to see what I'm doing. So after tacking it down, you're going to fix this to your bodies or wherever it is that you want to fix the sleeve to. So now I have 5 now, and you can see that it's a bit full. You can see what I have so far. So this is the last one. I'm going to fold it just like I did for the other one. So just notice the difference in crinoline. The crinoline that you work with matter. This is just 1 inch crinoline, so it's not giving me the structure that I want, like this, the one with 2 inches is giving me. So depending on how wide your cone is, your crinoline should also correspond with the cone you are working with. If your cone is very wide, you consider working with a crinoline of maybe 4 inches or 3 inches, so that it can make it stand and give it the structure that you want. So this is the last one. I'm going to pin it like this, then I'll take this to the sewing machine now, and then I'm going to sew it where I pinned. So after sewing it, I'll bring it back to show us what we have. Okay, so we've tagged all of the cones now, and these are the 6 cones. So you can see the fullness that 6 cones gave us. So if you want yours fuller than this, you may consider using more fabric, but I used a yard of fabric for this, and you can see how lovely this came out. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.